So I am actually in the UK this time. I am down in the south coast in Brighton. You can see behind me the Brighton Pier, one of the very few fully working piers that still exist. There are around 50 in the UK that still are there, but very few of them actually have anything on them or anything that's fully working. So yeah, Brighton is one of the few, and this is in the top, usually in the top 10, sometimes the top 5 of places in the UK, at least in England, to go out for nightlife, and also just in the summer, because of course we have this beach. Although it isn't sandy, it is a nice place to be. So Brighton Pier is, if not one of the only working piers, is definitely one of the longest. If we go back, I am halfway down, I'm not even halfway down, and it is so much further to go. If you see back to where I have just come from, there is quite a while there. You can also see in the background, just about there, the West Pier. Now the West Pier was the kind of other pier that existed in Brighton, and was probably the more luxurious one, but had fires and disrepairs over the years, and even though lottery grants have been put forward for it, never managed to win any, even having village halls in nearby towns and villages beating it to the money. And so it is just now a skeleton of what it was, basically being left to fall into the sea, which is a pity, but it is still nice to see that we have this behind me still running here, and of course one of the few places you can get actual fish and chips, which of course isn't the national food of the UK, of England, no matter what anyone wants to tell you. That goes to chicken tikka masala, of course, but you can get some decent fish and chips and donuts here on the pier as well. So I have got the pier in the background there. I'm just coming along to the front here, where Brighton's attempt at a beach is, which again is not sand, it is pebbles, but obviously fish and chip shops, because we're by the coast, we're at the seaside, and that is the one thing. It may not be the national dish for the UK, but if you're by the seaside, you can absolutely get fish and chips, as well as an ice cream, and probably some donuts. Not the healthiest of meals, but certainly one that's going to make you carry on with a smile on your face. If you are vegetarian or vegan, don't worry, you will still be able to enjoy the very traditional fish and chips here in Brighton. In fact, if you are basically opposite the West Pier, so the one that's crumbling, then you'll find this, the no-catch vegan fish and chip. Like myself, I am vegetarian. I am going to enjoy some fish and chips without having to worry about the fish. Okay, so here you go. We have got the vegan fish and chip. This is it. It is tofu and chips. The chips look amazing. I'm going to say the chips look like they should do, which is crispy. And I know I'm having barbecue sauce instead of tartar sauce. I don't care, it goes. But yeah, definitely looking forward. And I'll check this place out. So it's opposite the West Pier. It's called No Catch, and yeah, looks great. Well, of course, I had to get an ice cream, didn't I? You can't come to the seaside and not get one. It's not a bad size given the price, and obviously as we're continuing on a very old Victorian era beach, we also have a nice old-fashioned carousel, which is still running along here with all the little postcards and little touristy shops and nooks and crannies that we have here. But I I'm going to have a little look and enjoy my ice cream. So Brighton isn't all just about the seaside. It's also known as a pretty alternative city. It's got a very kind of hipstery feel, but not one that makes you feel out of place or that you're being talked down upon. It's just nice, full of different types of things that you can get involved in one way or the other, and there's something for everyone. You can see here there is just beautiful shops, different kinds of restaurants, and all types of different things that are going on in Brighton. This is just one of many, many side streets. These are all over the place with loads of different things for whatever you're looking for. Coming up on the Brighton Pavilion as part of the gardens here at Brighton. They are one of the most famous parts of the city, dating back well over 100 years, and you can kind of tell the inspiration from when we were an empire, but now in a far calmer place, as you'll see from all the people here. This is now somewhere that people come together to chill in the sun and admire the pavilion. So as I say, something you'll find very much the case in Brighton, as it's kind of a younger place and kind of that more hippie and free-loving approach to things. You find a lot of vegetarian and vegan options. I'm actually in Idea, which is a vegetarian cafe. I expect to have vegan breakfast, but I'll try that one out as I'm walking past. And it is very bright and very eclectic all round. As you can see, this is the cafe, and even the street outside is nice and colourful. So yeah, absolutely the case. If you are someone who struggles sometimes to find a vegetarian option, vegan option, or you're just coming over and you're worried that maybe you're not going to find the right stuff in the UK, especially for like full English and things like that, you definitely still can, especially in places like Brighton. Again, there is another street here. You can just see it's an eclectic mix of different things. And it's one of the big things you'll find about Brighton is, although it's in the southeast of England, it is one of the friendliest places that you're going to find. It's just not something that's usual in the southeast. The southeast is usually quite reserved and cold, as you might find, of kind of English culture. Brighton is very different. The nearest place you're going to find for that in the southeast is probably Camden, something like that. But it is definitely somewhere to come and check out all the different things, of which there are many that you'll find here. It's not that we don't care. We just know that the fight is trying to keep breathing. So a few things better than having a pimp, because I'm British, and then listening to a little bit of music by the seaside. So I'm just in the Selina Hotel in Brighton, and it is actually a hostel as well. It's got the choices, so I'm in a shared room. Now you've got some normal beds, but you also have the bunk beds as well as normal. But this is far cleaner than I'd expect most hostels. It is far more a hotel. As with many things in Brighton, it's more of a kind of new age type setup, but very nice, very clean. And having my own kind of proper bed in a hostel is a bit of a perk as well, I'm not going to lie. But definitely a good idea. There's some free drinks at 6 o'clock for an hour, so I'm going to go down and see just how free and just how much they go on for. And then there's yoga in the morning, there's banner making tonight, there's all sorts of different things that look a lot of fun, don't involve us spending any money. Now when you're in Brighton, far more than many other places in the UK as well, you're definitely having to pinch those pennies because it is not a cheap city to be in. So this is definitely a good thing for the Selina Hotel. So you'll find yourself, when you go throughout Brighton, if you step down a road, as I've said before, you'll get transported somewhere that just doesn't seem like a city. There's so many nooks and crannies everywhere. There's so many pubs with regional beers and just little things that you won't even imagine. There's art galleries just stuck next to jewellers round a corner that you didn't even know was there. There's so many different things here. A lot of galleries, a lot of art museums and things like that. And it's a little bit of discovery when you walk around. So you'll see just up here, you'll notice that this does not feel like Brighton. This doesn't feel like the southeast of the UK, and there's just all these nooks and crannies everywhere, these little bars and jewellers. There's a breakfast club up here, and there's just way more than you would expect. And this is speaking of someone, I previously lived in Brighton, and there are still parts of the city I've just never seen. So I'm just in the Liberation Gallery in Brighton, which is like an art therapy gallery as well, and really interesting to come in here and see not just what people are creating, but kind of what's in their mind and their soul as well. So many things you can see around me that are basically created from hurt, from suffering, and from healing and everything else. It's definitely somewhere to pop into.